What's up, everybody? About to get it cracking in this Madden Superstar again. Go check out this playoff picture real quick. Right now, we're the 4 seed going to Dallas in the first round if things hold up this way. Currently 7-5, leading the division. We just had a bad loss at Atlanta. Bad loss. Number 2 offense in the league. Number 10 in passing yards. Number 10 in rushing yards. Number 4 in opponent rushing yards. Middle of the pack in offensive points given up a game and offensive passing yards a game. So can't stop the pass, but our run defense good and our offense is good. So gotta watch him. But before we get into it, let me get situated real quick. While I do that, we can watch this video. And then, yeah. Oh, shit, excuse me. Yo, what's up, everybody? What's cracking? Yo, what's up, everybody? What's cracking? All right, we got action. We live about it. Just wanted to make sure we was on. Yo, what's up, everybody? What's cracking? All right, we got action. We live about it. Just wanted to make sure we was on. Yo, what's up, everybody? What's cracking? All right, we got action. We live about it. Just wanted to make sure we was on.
I don't do this, but the things I spoke on previously about fully chopped was absolutely wrong. So first thing, I'm gonna just apologize to fully chopped friends and family. I posted a video stating that he got shot and is in critical condition. That was the furthest thing from the truth. Y'all got on my head about that. Yeah, I did. But like I said, it's really my fault because I ain't do further research. I just took the video for what it was and ran with it. I did my thing and just posted it. So that's really my fault. But I ain't gonna let that happen again. Oh, let's see if we can get 4,000 likes on this one. Yep. First like, first comment, y'all know what it is. Shout out to my noti gangers. Cut your noties on. Cut your noties on. Get this paint, man. Come on, everybody eats me. We chasing y'all. So if this is the Wi-Fi I got, trust and believe that's the best Wi-Fi I could have got. Xfinity don't do over here, AT&T do, but they got the slow shit over here. AT&T was the ones I had at the last shit, but they had the speedy shit. Now I do notice the difference of the community I'm in. I see why they had it over there and why they don't over here. You know, it's a difference. It's a big difference. What's the paper shit? What contracts be like? Black and white, right? Yeah. So, you know, hell yeah. Verizon got internet for houses? Did not know that. Might have to look into that.
Get on the saddle.
What's up,
right
everybody?
here
Run them
blew
likes
me.
up.
This
Run them
how I
likes
knew
up.
the new generation of kids are crazy. Man, when I was growing up chasing the police, you told
Get some more people up in here. Run them likes up, y'all.
Boy, they ain't gonna look at you like Superman.
Before we get it cracking,
nigga, you did what?
wrap this season up. I'm gonna go to the schedule real
Go
quick.
look at you like how that looked at Craig for beating up Debo, nigga. These niggas is crazy.
He always wanted this, took his gun and got a switch. Fully draped this bitch bit, came around flexing, so you know look so took his kid.
Some shit with Lil 50 and all that. And for a while people thought he was from
Two
this
back-to-back
hood originally,
L's, but we got to get back to it.
For a while people even thought like he was from this hood, and then they like seen y'all wasn't messing with each other
Last
no more.
ship finished season 12 and 5. Y'all think we can win out? Let me know.
I was just bringing them over here. And then I got booked. Kicking it with them and slap. I got booked. I really don't like that. They really wasn't my homies. I was in jail. This photo came around, he took their ass because they stole my hoodie. Ain't want to give it back, man. I still on y'all there for my.
That's crazy. A whole beef started over a Nike tech at that. It was a Nike tech. It was some regular shit. Like, come on, man.
Damn, I don't think I know how it feels.
It's literally taking down their sign. Y'all see his head. Y'all see his ass. Y'all, Queso taking down his sign, right? Queso taking down his sign. Now he just clicked up cool with them. Like, pick a side. If you want to be cool with them or you want to kill them, G. Like, come on now. Your ass not cool with nobody at all. Your ass, they just took your pipe and you back cool hanging with them.
But Buddy just, I don't know, man. That's crazy. Usually when people do foul, you just can't go back into their life. You can't allow them back into your life. It's obvious they don't with you. They don't with you. If motherfuckers do you foul, they don't with you. I don't even let them tell you it was an accident. Just go ahead and keep going on with your. Now, if you got something cooking and you feel you
just keep
entitled to
pushing.
feel the way how you feel, but
It don't
if
even
something
matter.
happen and then you look at it as a flawed move, yeah, go ahead and get away. Okay, I got you. But anyway, it sounded like the little queso guy, he sounded like he was a little lost out here. If he going from gang to gang to gang, either he doing some bullshit and moving around, or motherfuckers doing bullshit to him and he's still moving around. Then the whole they ops now, then they not ops. That's some old like, hey, you looking crazy. You know how stupid you look? Like, yeah, I want to kill these niggas. Now I'm finna go hang with these niggas. You look stupid after that, you know? It's almost like you should have never opened your mouth at all and said all that and did whatever you know?
Facts.
No! Watch this! I'll be right back!
Why you just throw? Why you just shooting 30? Why you not shooting 30?
Oh, fuck! You finna see! You never open my leg on! Oh, you in your kid!
On my dad, I'm knocking your gun back.
I'm gonna kill you.
My dad, when you somewhere, knocking your gun back. You.
I'm gonna see you.
Fam, it's this new term going around, YNs. And for those who don't know, YN is an abbreviation for young niggas. People would allude that this video is a prime example of that. Fam, when we think we seen it all, turns out we ain't seen nothing yet. In this video, we got teenagers as young as 15 chasing the police. They backdooring they homies, getting on shootouts on Instagram Live, admitting to killings while on social media, even going as far as posting evidence on their music video. If you think this was a joke, it's not. This the video we have today, where majority of every player in this video is 15 to 16 years old. Today we talk about possibly one of the most dangerous, deadliest, youngest wars in Chicago history that lasted all but 39 days and started over a stolen sweater. Fam, I can't make this up.
Man, I hate to even talk about these dudes in the same sentence as crackheads, bro. But in that one video I said, you still in hoodies? You still in hoodies? But that's some crackheads. I ain't gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. Y'all was in the comments defending it. It was a whole generation of people doing that. They should steal the starter ones and the whatever other expensive ones they should steal. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter in my opinion. You know, to be willing to steal somebody's article of clothing, a piece of their outfit or something, I mean, you're gonna have to constantly do that to make a living. It almost sounds like a quick cash type of scheme. So yeah, you doing it for money, but so you doing it for money like a living, or you just doing it for this one-off or every so often type deal? Crackheads right quick for the quick monetary gain. To get what? The crack. They need them rocks, the good ones. I got a will wake me up from the dope man. Shout out to Addict Talk, because they taught me that, like, crackheads go get wake ups and shit. Look, I'm alive now. Yeah. So they older dope, man, and they just going to steal a hoodie for what? How much you get for a nigga, $100?
Before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to jump right to it. As mentioned today, fam, we're going to Chicago, Illinois, an area known for its drill culture. Chief Keef, Lil Durk, G Herbo, just to name a few. But just like anything else in life, new generations follow up behind you. And in this case, it was no different. But we might gotta go back 2 to 3 generations after Chief Keef era. And some will bring up guys like Q50 with the Lil 50, 15 years old, real name Anthony Smith, a up-and-coming rapper with millions of views on YouTube, who was also best friends with a local rapper named Fully Chop, who was also 15 years old.
So you know Lil Queso took his kit. ARP ain't got no kick. Knock a nigga off his shit.
They rap an area named PGF. Some say they was inspired by Lord Jeff and Q50, which is crazy to say.
Nah, they is. I seen this one little clip. I don't know if it's in a video or something I seen in my spare time. Hey, the nigga was interviewing them. He mentioned them niggas, the Bloodhounds. Yeah, y'all ain't tour with the Bloodhounds. Nah.
Bloodhounds.
No. That's them. You probably seen it too. That's them. Yeah. And then another clip, the Q50 with the little 50 guy, them niggas did what they did, but had to pay the consequence. Yeah, they Jeff Bloodhound them. Seeing that made me realize Lil Jeff influence. Yeah, seeing that made me realize his influence. Like I knew, you know, he's getting popular, more popular, or whatever. But it's a difference when you see that in real life influence. Yeah.
Generation after them. But unfortunately, Lord Jeff lost his life at the very beginning of his career, and as of now, Q50 is locked up. But far as the generation under them, Q50 with the Lil 50 and Fully Chop has been making their rounds on social media for a lot of their antics and very little for their raps.
Fully chopped 2 times on the couch TV.
There's Q50 with a 50 on the couch TV. You know that.
Go watch the.
You know, I'm going all the awesome.
Man, y'all young as hell, and according to what I see online, y'all living a street life, okay? I'm sure y'all know by now. 2 things that come with the street life, right? So with me being 33, I'm down there old enough to be y'all pops. So it's like I can't even not give y'all the speech while y'all here, you know? We interview a lot of young guys. We've had several guys that, you know, left us this year, you feel me? This was a rough year for us, you know? So I ain't nobody daddy, but my thing is, you know, y'all young, y'all talented, you feel me? Y'all really got the potential to do whatever y'all want to do. You can use the bull to draw them in, you know what I'm saying? But once you like them in, you know you want to keep them there, you see what I'm saying? So that's it, you know, I don't want to, you know, overdo it, but I just want y'all to be safe.
Now, a day after Q50 with the Lil 50 and Fully Chop had did that interview on the well-respected Chicago platform DJU, he would be gunned down in the alley, October 22nd, 2024. 15-year-old Anthony Smith, a.k.a. Q50 with the Lil 50, got into a verbal altercation in the alley on the 6600 block of South Chaplin Avenue when suddenly shots had went off around 8:30 p.m. He was rushed to Comer's Hospital, where he later pronounced deceased. May he rest in peace. 11 condolences to his family. There was at least 16 shell casings on the scene.
News on this Wednesday morning,
So it was an argument out in the alley? That don't even make sense. I mean, it do, but the details ain't there. So now it's a little bit, not a little bit, it's still fucked up. Why they even arguing? Blaming DJU couch for these little dumb crash outs? I just read the chat. Be cool. I don't know, that couch is crazy though. Just look at the history on it. Me personally, if I was this, I would have bought a new couch. You know, I would have bought a new couch. Put that in a museum or something.
A teenage boy was shot and killed on the South Side Street last night.
WGN's Courtney Spinelli joins us live from police headquarters with the details. Courtney.
Yeah, good morning to you both. A 15-year-old boy whose identity has still not been released as of this morning was gunned down in the city's Woodlawn neighborhood last night. It's the latest crime in this area that has residents feeling on edge and saddened by another loss of life.
Yes, there was a lot of shots. It was so scary because it was so close.
The sounds of gunfire piercing through this neighborhood around 8:30 Tuesday night. Chicago police responding to the 6600 block of South Champlain where they found the victim.
It's sad. It's so sad because he was so young, you know, and it's like this generation is not able to live because like they're getting taken so fast.
We should never get used to it.
Man, I feel like it's the same though. as we watch them rapper-mentaries about Chicago, and we just look back on the history. It's been the same. 15 niggas done passed away at 15 on this Chicago rapper-mentary. One fathead like 15, 16. Oh my God! I ain't tell me I'm out of focus. One the Fatso guy, not Fatso. I'm so sorry about that. But the fathead guy, wasn't he about 15, 16? Anyway, teenagers been passing away in Chicago. I think it's more publicized though now. But it's been that. Can't act like this shit been going on though when it just when it's happening recent. Like
life expectancy and teens doesn't go well in the same sentence.
I got a red one on the way.
To CPD, the boy was standing in an alleyway when he was shot multiple times in the abdomen and legs. He was rushed to Comer Children's, but did not survive. Pastor Donovan Price responded to the scene to offer help.
Seems to be an aspiring rapper. Another
Aspiring rapper. It's crazy.
The young person killed.
Investigators could be seen laying evidence markers near spent shell casings and personal belongings left behind. Price says the scene was emotional and paints a picture of the trauma that will face not only his family, but the greater community.
Well, we have to speak life into our young people and hope and the people who do things like this, that they need to know that there's another way.
Resident Caroline Bridges says it's been more frequent where the neighborhood is being plagued by gunfire. As a parent with several young children, she says she fears not only for those involved, but potential innocent victims caught in the crossfires.
It'd be like around 2 o'clock. It'd be real late at night, and it just be so many shots. Like, you don't know where they're coming from. It's just so many, and you just, wondering if everybody outside is okay.
Just last month, a 56-year-old man was inside his home in the 6600 block of South St. Lawrence when someone fired shots from the sidewalk. He was with his family, including grandchildren, when his life was brutally taken.
It's very scary.
I ain't gonna lie. Even the residents ain't safe. We've been seeing that a lot, too, with them especially. But Philly is a whole different animal. In Philly, it's just they only guilty. But up here in Chicago, we've been seeing that where ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And he in the mix.
Price says in either crime, it's important to speak up if you know anything.
If you know something, say something. If you can help, and if you're one of the perpetrators of this and you need someone to hold your hand and walk with you, then I'm willing to.
Now, the motive for this shooting has not yet been released as of this morning, and investigators are still looking for the person or persons responsible. As Area 1 detectives are investigating, they ask anybody with information to give them a call or submit a tip online, anonymously online. For now, reporting live outside police headquarters, Courtney Spinelli, WGN News.
Now, Q50 with the lower 50 was one of 3 siblings. He was basically raised by his sister, and apparently some people was blaming her for her little brother falling victim to the streets. And this is what she had to say.
I'm sorry, I look rough. My voice gone, everything. I cannot fix my hair right now. Cannot fix myself. Yeah, I literally just have to force myself to stop crying for this video. If I do cry in this video, please understand why. So yesterday, my little brother was pronounced deceased. Y'all, it's so crazy because if you look on my TikTok, you will see that I was just talking about my little brothers. If you know me, then you know, like, it wasn't a one without the others. Like, if you see me, you see my little brothers. Or if you see me, you definitely seen 50. The little look-alike. My little brother got killed yesterday. Everything just played out so wacky. But now it's a lot of comments and stuff going around, and I'm getting blamed. Oh, Jada influenced it.
Bro, y'all know how it was when y'all was teenagers. Some of y'all might never did the streets or whatever, or really being hella rebellious to the point where you don't even get
Chicago crazy like that. But let's lock in.
Sit down in
let's
jail
get this
for the
dub
rest of
real
your
quick.
life by some of the shit you out there doing. I blame
Let's lock
the parents. It's a reason why she was raising him.
On the road in
My
Tampa.
assumption, the parents are not around.
They fighting for their playoff. Well, we both fighting for our playoff lives. It's a divisional game.
parents are
Excuse
not
right
around.
here.
Because if
We
that's
need
the
all
case,
of
the
us.
mama would have been getting the blame. Mama
But we
kicked them
stepping
out.
out.
Once motherfucker deep into the streets, it's no turning back, have no influence or father figure. He chose that life. He chose the street life. So whatever she had to say, it's gonna be out there. Now I don't know, an argument leading to me at my age can't see it. You feel me? An argument, nigga, we just get to throwing these. We could throw these. However it
Right,
go,
them
it go.
bitches work. I
You know?
feel you, my
Once
boy.
it's done, it's done.
I feel you, my boy.
Knew, like, y'all was gonna blame me. When it first happened, before anything got posted, I knew it. I said it. I'm gonna be ready for the internet to try to attack me. But let me tell y'all this. I tried my best. I paid thousands of dollars for sports. Gave them anything they want. Moved in all different type of cribs. Mind y'all, I'm only 16. I'm taking care of them. My own money, all that before I even had a child.
Let's
She
go,
was
Arch.
16
Let's
doing
go,
all
Arch.
this.
We got 1,000 yards before we hit our
Somebody,
goal.
You know how they shit was.
We got
and
5
shit.
games
Starting
left.
to have a little
200
I
yards
ain't
a
even gonna
game.
lie,
We got
maybe
action.
I'm one of the slow kids. or
AK
something,
and
but,
O-line.
you know,
Let's go. Let's get
16,
this
I
work.
was still doing.
Let's go. Let's get this work, AK.
I wasn't worried about. Now I'm
Or
take care
little
of some
Timmy gonna
kids,
get
I
in.
ain't gonna lie. I wasn't worried about that.
Say go.
Feel that fur. 16. Comment in chat. At 16, I was worried about getting fresh and whole. I wasn't even worried about. I was worried about niggas selling chips in the hallway, nigga. So anyway, chat at 16. Was y'all been able to take care of some kids and yourself and get yourself in the house at 16? Don't cap us down in the chat.
When I got a child,
At 16, I think I could have.
when I had my baby, that's when things started getting wacky. Like, I was like just trying to focus on my child, and I was already going through something. So I like put them like to the curve a little bit, and they like start making money on their own. But I seen that I got me another crib, and I moved them back in with me before anything got out of hand. It still ended up getting out of hand. I couldn't do nothing. I was trying my best, doing everything, trying to have everything at home for them so everything could be okay. It didn't work. The first thing they just kept saying was they don't want me to keep doing everything for them. They want to do stuff for themselves. I understand that because I was just y'all age. I know what y'all going through. Y'all don't want to depend on nobody. But I'm telling you, it's okay. Y'all could depend on me. I wanted to take y'all in.
To squat.
Wait, that's Chicago. They the home of the I got the approval. I could get you an approval. See, some of y'all might not know that. But if you get on Facebook or Instagram or whatever in your home city, telling you they can get you in any apartment in the city.
No one would get arrested for her brother murder. But a month later, the person who was allegedly responsible from an area named Trap City had lost his life a month later due to a horrific car crash. He was a young teen who went by the name of Loyalty. He was one of 5 people who was driving in the rain and lost control and hit a pole.
Free eats? She do free eats? Ain't no such thing. So y'all ain't had my attention till y'all said free food, nigga. She do free food? What? Hey, nah, might need that. Shit. Not free, half off.
That nigga a fool.
That's better than the food stamp. Bro, I am from the hood, bro. Certain shit can't let go. So you mean 50 cents on the dollar and I get all this food for $200? $400 worth of food for $200? Come on. I need that. Tap in with me then, Snore. Man, I don't know. I gotta see it to believe first. I don't know about you. Need that though.
They was driving a white Chrysler. This incident happened November 19, 2024. They was possibly chased by their opposition. This how Chicago worked. One of their ops got on live on the scene in third person.
When you thought you was motherfucking Vin Diesel, you was Vin Diesel and ran to the pole and killed you. Oh my fucking... This shit gotta stop. My ops gotta stop killing themselves. What the fuck? I was just in the car with you.
Now while all this was going on, a kid who go by the name of Lil Queso, who was real close, the Q50 with the Lil 50 and fully chopped, even mentioned in a video.
Drake this bitch bit, came around flexing, so you know Lil Queso took his kit. ARP
I heard that.
Apparently they had a
I heard that. Didn't even think nothing of it. But This how crazy the street life can get. Y'all boy shouting each other out on songs, Instagram stories and shit to real life. I want to kill you now. Like this how crazy the street life get, man. Hey, shit legit, we can get lit, you know? If shit legit, we can get lit.
Gun took from him by his own homie. They even recorded it.
On my dad gonna knock your gun back. On my dad gonna knock your gun back. You.
Alright, we gonna see.
Alright.
After feeling embarrassed and getting his pipe took and having it broadcasted online, as mentioned, Lil Queso decided to deal with the other side. And during that time, he dissed Q50 on an Instagram Live, saying he didn't even bust back when he got shot. Check it out.
You fucking dime. Let's go.
Pipe on twin, he ain't blow.
Good way to find the spot, Chris.
What you talking about? On twin. Hell no.
You know he still getting hot blood.
Yeah, he ain't blow shit. Stop that. He couldn't blow. His gun was in somebody else's hand, bro. He was just.
The little nigga took little 50 pole and he ran to get another one. Then came back and tried to press the issue. I heard then he got
basically chasing them, thinking they won.
And it be like, well, shit, I feel like it's unnecessary. However, them people got his gun. Why didn't you even take it? There's so many crooked faces.
Go blow, like he was gonna beat the dog shit out of him or something. I don't know. Y'all be tweaking. Call my phone. You talking about at least he blew his pipe on twin, he ain't blow. You talking about on twin.
And that was his homie, whole PGF. Like, what the hell?
You know he still getting hot blood.
Yeah, he ain't blow shit. Stop that. He couldn't blow. His gun was in somebody else's hand, bro. He was just basically chasing them, thinking they want to go blow. Like,
Now, apparently that pissed Philly Chop off, and he wanted revenge. Now, for those who don't know at this point, Lil Queso is the kid who was chasing CPD at just 15 years old that went viral on social media about 2 months ago.
He's chasing y'all.
Run his ass over, AK. Get your little ass out the way, Dean. Get out the way.
This is definitely a teenager activity. Yup.
They scared. We chasing them.
Now, when Q50 with the Lil 50 lost his life, Philly Chop really didn't mess with him. Reason being, an older guy named DV from a neighborhood called JDG on 56 Morgan had alleged that a Nike hoodie of his was stolen by the local rapper Q50 with the Lil 50.
Nike Tech. That motherfucker all of $94. Shorties out here be broke, snore. Some little niggas broke in my car on 82nd and 83rd and Luminous and stole my Nike Tech hoodie. I guess, you know, these guys 10, 12 years younger than me, man. So maybe I just won't get it. You know, it's for them to get. But petty shit ain't never been my forte. If I ain't going big, I ain't going at all.
Lil Queso. And because of that, Philly Chop said in his mind he had something to do with it. Even though at the time the sweater was allegedly stolen, Lil Queso was incarcerated. And he felt like he didn't have to pick sides.
Like most crying to ride it. You know what they want to do.
They pick a hood to be in, you know? Then rock that out.
You feel like that's how people like get comfortable, probably get back door.
That's the women's, bro. That's the women's size I wear. I wear 13 and like, fuck y'all. Fuck, you got a size 17 back there, Bernard? Yeah, y'all don't even know where I got that from.
Or something like that, or like snitched on.
Hey, look, that's how I feel that guy all about good. Phone him. Hey, look, don't come around with shit I like. I ain't gonna lie. Phone him hit the line. Then 2 days a week. Damn. On the spree. No, real spree. I ain't gonna lie. Listen, real. Hey, look. If I ain't look, if you like it, you want it. You go get it.
Now we seen y'all like had a relationship with Lil 50 and all that, and for a while people thought he was from this hood originally. Like,
What you saying?
for a while people even thought like he was from this hood, and then they like seen y'all wasn't messing with each other no more, I guess.
Cause my little homie Queso, so he had brought them around. I was just bringing them over here, and then I got booked. Kicking it with them and slapping them. I got booked. Listen, dirty. I don't like that. They really wasn't my homies. I was in jail. This photo came around, he took their ass because they stole my hoodie. I ain't want to give it back. And I'm still on y'all ass for my.
At least we want your hoodie back, man.
They got bro, that ain't. My Nike tag, they ass bogus as hell, gang. That big as hell, man. That
Nah, but nah. Shorty, to be honest, I don't even know where Shorty from, man. His ass
Nike PGF all type. Motherfuckers just want to be for 56.
I was
then,
locked
then
up.
before them took, he started claiming 66. Then they stopped for Nike PGF. His ass was blue. All in my car.
Like we see another definition. Right.
And we definitely seen like somebody over here like clowning, like, yeah, we took his Ruger or something like that. Like, it was a lot of trolling comments getting through out there, man. It was.
Nah, it's like, look, on some real. We don't even do we don't even hold on. We don't even do like that next, but it's like when young thing chasing it, now we gotta let it be known what's going on, like what's really going on.
Yeah, that just shows that he a goofy game. Hey, throw that out the window. Come on, bro, we ain't even use it. Hey, look,
right, that's they be chasing.
That's how you drive down there and put that motherfucker in a box.
Big ass million.
So now we know why all that started over a sweater. We got Q50 who lost his life shortly after. Then we got his killer losing his life in a car crash. Queso jumping crews after getting his pipe took and the footage being released on social media. But then shortly after, Queso will lose his life inside of his home. Now it's important we point out something. It's a guy named Speedy, 079, who's the cousin of Q50 with the Lil 50. But they had a falling out and they was once enemies. Q50 with the Lil 50 sister had even briefly talked about it when she found out that her cousin was making fun of her deceased brother.
And Speedy ass keep trolling, it's gonna be 30K on his head, and I bet you we be dead.
God damn, the nigga ain't even 18 yet. God damn.
By tonight, his ass keep trolling, his ass gonna be dead. His ass trolling, when the next time I see his mama face gonna be split open on my dead cousin. Why his ass troll?
But here's where things get slimy. Speedy allegedly gave the drop on Queso. Some people assume that was trying to get back in good grace with Fully Chop, who was his cousin best friend. 6 weeks after Q50 with the Lil 50 lost his life, on December 2nd, 2024, Queso would lose his life while inside his home.
I just said old chick be scamming. You think she ain't got 30K? Mind you, she talking about racks she spent on sports. I think she got it. And if that shit coming in how y'all say it is, she got it. I ain't gonna lie, bro. 30K ain't that much. I can say that. Bro, y'all got on my ass when I made that job comment. Y'all talking about I'm out of touch with reality and all that. Maybe I am, bro. Maybe I am. But my nigga, 30K, motherfucker come with 30K in 30 days. Especially that motherfucker got motion. $1,000 a day, that motherfucker probably drop out. See, I'm my head, I can wrap my head around the drug dealing shit. The whole scamming shit, I don't know about that shit. But drug dealing, shit, I don't know. That's a bow. Sell a bow a day? Oh, if you break that bow down into the QPs and sell that motherfucker, that's more than 1,000. So you do 400 a Q, well, that's 16. That's 1,600 a day. Let's do some math. On my phone at. That's 48 bands, boy. All you need is 4 motherfuckers. They'll come bring you $400 for it. 4 ounces of weed, nigga.
Home, what some say trying to get a 3.5 by telling somebody to pull up, who allegedly was Speedy. Lil Queso was shot in the head a little after 11:30 a.m. on the 6700 block of South Parnell Avenue. May he rest in peace. I love condolences to his family.
Police are investigating the shooting death today of a 15-year-old boy. Police say they found him with a gunshot wound to the head inside a home just before noon today. The home is on South Parnell and West Marquette in the Inglewood neighborhood. So far, no arrests have been made.
Now, Fully Chop went to Instagram and basically admit to it, saying, yeah, I slimed Queso out. When he felt that belt, 50 wiped that baby nose. I miss you, twin. And he let it be known that Speedy ran on him, basically letting the world know he gave him the drop.
These before, hold on, stop the.
Damn, I'm trying to read that. Hold up. Real slime. Queso out. And he felt that belt 50 wiped on him baby nose.
He gave him the drop.
These before, hold on, stop the whip. Let me out. Been saying that shit before sleazy flow. It ain't real. Go, Skino.
You just my head up. You know what you know. I love you. They gonna say what they want. So when Lil Queso lost his life, Fully Chop name even went up more. So he decided to drop a music video that went crazy out the gate, even dropping hints of backdooring his dog and Lil Queso and taking his life. Not to mention they put Queso picture in the music video and the song.
I missed that. Hey, I watched that video back again. The video I did and whatever. I watched it back again. I'm like, damn, why ain't say nothing right there? They held the phone. It was real quick, too. They held the phone up to the screen.
Ironically titled Super Slime.
Alright, we gonna see.
Alright. But everything's starting to make sense. I wish I would have gotten to the rappermentaries first, then Buddy Music. Wish that's how it happened, but like this one right here, man.
That's my grandmother.
I still believe that he can be better at the rap. Like I said, he got it going right now because he living his raps. But he living them raps.
I would say the same thing to make you laugh and make you cry. Because within the last 24 hours of me making this video, and the reason I had to bring all that up, which all took place within the last 39 days, is because now Fully Chopped has been reported shot. With his
He's not been shot. He shot. He went on live, goddamn. He went on live and disputed all that. I haven't seen it, but I'm talking about. I got hundreds of these comments, so the same comment. So that's the only thing I can believe. I did see this funny TikTok. Well, not even funny TikTok. Man, they said dude got high and shot his finger off or some shit. So I'm waiting to see when he get that cast on wrap to see what. Yeah, I'm waiting to see when he get that cast off to see if he really did that shit or not. Imagine you robbing a motherfucker you grew up with since the sandbox. Not when I grew up in Iraq. That's some new gen shit. Heard he was on some hot shit, fucking with the gun and shit. Well, let me tell you how I've been owning guns for the past 7 years straight. I ain't never had an accidental discharge. When you pick up that motherfucker, fingers like this, down the barrel. That's like your guideline, but fingers always like this until you ready to shoot that bitch. And then you shoot that bitch as this. You see that? But it's always like this until you ready to shoot. I know you don't like a Glock in your face. My bad about that, buddy. But I just had to show you, man. When you dealing with them guns, man, trigger discipline is a strong thing. Like I said, 7 years, I ain't never had an accidental discharge. Anything that discharged, I wanted to discharge. Cause guess what I did? Yeah. I might go to the range, man. I gotta figure out this IRL live streaming shit out. But once I figure it out, man, I'll be going on adventures and shit. You know, gun range, concerts, restaurants. I don't know, but it's something to explore. Let me know how you feel about this video down in the comment section down below. He basically told us some things that we know and then some things we don't know. But it was a nice introduction to everybody in the mix of the new generation.
What hype? The hype about Booby Miles. Now, hype is something that's not for real. I'm all real.
Winchell to Miles. Miles, running room. Mojo, touchdown!
In 1990, H.G. Bissinger wrote a book called Friday Night Lights, a town, a team, and a dream. The book is non-fiction, 100% real, as Bissinger moved his entire family to Odessa, Texas for a year to chronicle their high school's 1988 football season. There was a lot of real-life characters fleshed out in the book, but none will become a bigger sports icon than the one and only Booby Miles. A brash young running back with $1 million smile and a several $1 million physical skill set. But while many others tapped into those assets, Booby himself never actually cashed in a single chip. Off the field, Booby had a rough life and he struggled in school early, causing the school system in a town that was already heavily infested with racism to quickly judge dude, fail to even attempt to understand him, then just extract the physical talent out of dude and then discard him once you're done, as if dude was nothing. In 2004, the book was made into a movie, and if you're watching this channel, you've probably seen it multiple times if you're like me. If you haven't seen it, it is recommended. This video will contain some spoilers for one of the characters in the movie, but the movie's almost 20 years old now, not to mention we're gonna go well beyond what the movie covered. Either way, if you did see the movie, and even if you haven't, because he's become such a cultural icon, you probably know that Booby Miles was that dude, but then he gets hurt. Now, what you see in the book that you don't really see in the movie is just how drastic it was when everybody in the town turned on dude. Check out this excerpt from the author of the book. It's a short quote, but I want you to really listen because this is what Booby Miles was experiencing as a kid. So again, the author was living in a town and he talks about one day going to practice after Booby got injured, and here's what he overheard. I heard boosters laughing one day on the sideline and sort of comparing Booby to a horse. They said, quote, "What do you do when a horse is pulled up lame? You shoot him. You shoot him." So that's the kind of blind racism and hatred this kid was dealing with. And once you look at that, it's not surprising that things went left for Booby after high school. The most surprising thing is that things didn't go even worse. Booby was seen as a special case who couldn't be held to the same standard as everyone else in the classroom. Teachers made the decision that football was his only option, and a lot of people in the town worried about what would happen to dude if he ended up getting hurt. But while some worried about it, others actually laughed at the thought. They joked that if dude could no longer hold a football, he would be holding a broom because that's the only other thing he could do. They found the whole situation hilarious. They loved seeing him in a lowered state. It made them feel bigger and prouder and better. But really they was just a bunch of lowlifes giving real credence to the phrase, misery loves company. Booby Miles was treated like an urban legend, like a hometown hero. But once he got injured, he was treated like a pariah, like a useless animal. That's how they saw him. You heard that quote I just read? For Booby, the Friday night lights eventually faded into a grim, dark reality. He ended up gaining weight, being hospitalized, and even spending years in prison. In today's video, we're gonna discuss all of that, plus the real way Booby Miles actually got hurt, and in my opinion, the way things actually happened is way worse than how it happened in the movie. This is what happened to Booby Miles from Friday Night Lights. Cue the Wayne.
You'll never know quitter, 'cause I'ma go get her.
Alright, real quick before we jump in, today's video is grooming experience. Once again for sponsoring the video, without further ado, let's jump back in. So Booby Miles had a tough start to life. Dude was born in Houston. He lived there until he was 3. Then his mom left him with his grandma when she decided to move to Oklahoma. Not sure if she had a job opportunity up there or what, but she left Booby in Texas and she left. After a couple of years of living with his grandma, Booby then moves in with his dad around the age of 5. But his dad worked 2 jobs. He was a plant worker and a truck driver. He was getting it in, trying to provide, but he was never at home. Now, at some point while he was gone, a woman that Booby's dad was dating and that was staying at the house actually physically attacks a 6 or 7-year-old Booby at this point. According to the story, she taped the man to a dresser and whooped him with an extension cord. When Booby went to school the next day, he had whelps all over him and school officials wouldn't let him return home. Now, because this kid is physically assaulted by an adult, she doesn't go to jail, but he gets placed in foster care. At this point, his dad can't get him out and he ends up staying in foster care for almost a full year. So he kind of just sits and rots in there until guess who shows up? Uncle LV.
45. Booby, that's my nephew out there. The boy can play some football, I'm telling you. He can block, tackle, score the touchdown, snap the ball, hold the snap, and kick the extra point. The boy will fill up the Gatorade cooler, walk the dog, and paint your back court. That boy can flat out play football. Out, and he can pass.
Booby's uncle was a scene stealer in the movie, truly one of the greatest hype men ever. So apparently LV found out his nephew had been taken by the state and he went to go visit him. Booby was in a bad condition. His hand-me-down shoes were several sizes too big and he looked unkept and unloved. LV had a family of his own and between him and his wife, they was only making about $1,000 a month combined. Now that did go a little bit further back in the 70s, you know, inflation and everything. But the point remains that money was tight, but still, LV wouldn't turn his back on his nephew. LV moved Booby in with his family. Dude had a wife and 3 daughters. As you might expect from somebody with a childhood like Booby where you bouncing all around and you're living with this person this week and then you're with this person and then you're in foster care. It's an extremely rough start during a crucial stage in development, and that particular development bag was fumbled for Booby, so he had a lot of trouble in school, especially early on, and Uncle LV had to find somewhere for dude to channel his energy. So LV asked Booby if he wanted to play on the Pop Warner team that LV was coaching. So yeah, Uncle LV is the one who introduced Booby to football in the first place, and all that background information just makes this one particular scene hit even harder than it already did. Over the years, LV would keep Booby on the path. When he saw his nephew get frustrated and wanting to quit, LV never let him, and dude deserved credit for that. Some people felt he pushed Booby too hard at times, but even at the peak of his cockiness, Booby had no problem admitting that it would have never been who he was without his uncle. Booby in real life was said to be as high energy, charismatic, and cocky as he was in the movie. And back then, he only knew how to channel that energy into one thing: football. It became his entire identity. The movie actually starts at the start of his senior season where Booby is already a hometown hero. But only a couple of years earlier as a sophomore, dude actually got kicked off the team for missing workouts. Not in-season workouts, off-season workouts. Turns out Booby was on the track team and he was already the man over there as a 10th grader. So when the Texas relays came around, Booby's track coach held him out of off-season football practice. Well, Coach Gaines told Booby to go, quote, major in track if he was gonna miss workouts. Imagine being upset that your running back run track in the off-season. What coach with any sense treats that as a negative thing? He gonna get faster and he gonna be in tip-top shape. That little wing tee offense y'all ran ain't that damn complicated. He got it. But nah, Gaines actually made dude quit track. And not only that, he made him apologize to the entire team as if he had disgraced the football program by running track. Going into his junior season, Booby was actually playing second fiddle to fullback Sean Crow, as fullback was actually the featured position over tailback in that offense.
Permian on offense, you see Sean Crow, Mike Winchell, Booby Miles in the backfield.
Even in games where he didn't get his number called, dude learned to make do with what he got until his time in the number 1 spot. There's this one game from his junior season they talk about against Abilene High. In this game, dude only got 8 carries. 8 carries. And he somehow turned that into 232 rushing yards, bro. Book even talks about how Booby's dad, who had been separated from him for some time now, was actually in the stands that night and got choked up watching his son score a 62, a 67, and an 80-yard touchdown all in one game, all on 8 carries. Booby ended up putting up 1,345 rushing yards his junior season, but Sean Crow over in spot 1 rushed for over 2,000. And as much as Booby was enamored with his own ability, he was actually impressed by Sean Crow as well. Here's a quote from the book. Tell the truth, he's the first white boy I ever seen run like that. Pretty bad white boy. White nigga run like that? Not like Crow. He can run. As you can see, race was always a major topic in Odessa. At one point, the black people was actually kind of like quarantined off into a little section of the town, and they weren't allowed outside of those walls. So ironically, with their school colors, everything in Odessa was seen in black and white. Now in the movie, we meet Booby at a point where he's going into his senior season, ready to move into that main fullback spot because Sean Crow, 1 year older, had graduated. And while Sean Crow was a good player who went on to play 1 year at TCU before heading to the Marine Corps, Booby was on another level as a running back, and dude was poised to have a killer season. I'm talking about a season for the ages. If Sean Crow ran for 2K, what was Booby gonna do? You know, let Booby spin. Colleges have been sending dude recruitment letters the whole summer. Booby Miles had impressed on a level that had some calling him the best football player they'd ever seen. So you remember when Uncle LV was running down that list of skills? As much as your back porch might need to be painted, one of Booby Miles' best traits oftentimes gets lost in the shuffle. Listen again.
He can block.
He could block. And not only could he block, but the dude had a genuine deep love for the game. It was the only thing he'd been good at. And you know how that is, man. The first thing you have some success with, that love run deep. Now the book goes into some depth about how dude kind of had this uncontrollable energy where he'd be bouncing off the walls all the time and never really stopped talking and making beats on the wall. He was great with kids, had that $1 million smile, and teased a lot, but was usually good spirited. But he could have a hard time focusing, which may have been the reason he struggled in school. But with that said, man, football was the one thing that could focus dude up. I don't think they touch on this much in the movie, but in the book, the author actually tells the story of what sold every college scout on Booby Miles as a junior.
He can block.
The story takes place during his junior season where Perriman was in the playoffs. So it's 1980s Texas. Booby gets called a racial slur out on the field. So Booby get pissed off and kind of start losing it. But Gary Gaines doesn't panic because he knows one thing about Booby, and that's the fact that dude loved ball more than damn near anything. So Coach Gaines knew exactly what to say. So he walks up to Booby and tells him that the other team is simply trying to trick him. They wanted to get him worked up so that he would get himself kicked out of the game. Embarrassed and angry that they tried to take the game away from him, the book says that in that moment, Booby's whole face changes and he actually locks in a way that even Coach Gaines hadn't seen before. So he goes back out on the field and he doesn't even kill him in the run game because, again, he's playing the second fiddle position. This is a big game, a playoff game. I'm assuming they was feeding Sean Crow, the other running back. So how the hell does Booby end with 45 yards but impress every college scout that was there at the game? But they say the man was going crazy in the blocking game. They say he was flattening 200-pound linebackers over and over and over, showing a mean streak that the spirited player hadn't even shown as a runner. And that's when every college coach knew that there was so much more there than what Perriman was actually getting out of him. Now, earlier I mentioned that Booby had struggled in school. If you're wondering how he stayed eligible to play football, it's because they basically just pushed him through, gave him the answers to the test, and I mean that literally. They would give him the answers to the test just to make sure he passed. They gave up on teaching him long ago and was perfectly fine with just pushing him through the system so that he could play football and hopefully go win their precious state championship. And hey, heading into his senior season, it seemed to have been working. Dude had offers from USC, Clemson, Oklahoma, Florida State, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Nebraska, everywhere. But he had 100% of his future hinging on his physical ability. And while a lot of athletes don't have a concrete backup plan, Booby was even worse because he had not learned anything in school and had been classified with a learning disability because that meant he would be exempt from state tests. This is how they kept him on the field. Again, no regard for the actual person, only cared about the football player. When I read excerpts from the book, I can see Derek Luke portraying Booby Miles in my head. It's just like extra scenes. They actually did a crazy good job in this film, and the original author of the book did an amazing job of capturing real life on paper. It's cold, bro. I hope I could do something this impactful one day. The Nike versus Adidas thing in the book. Booby giving them Mayweather speeches in the locker room from the book. As we know, Booby had dreams of going pro. He wanted to achieve something for himself and get his uncle LV and his family a house. But check out this quote from Booby pulled from the book. He said he couldn't ever imagine a life without football because it would be, quote, a big zero. Cause I don't know, it's just the way I feel. If I had a good job and stuff, I still wouldn't be happy. I wanna go pro, that's my dream. To be Rookie of the Year, something like that. Of course, we all know by now that Booby never gets to live out his dream. He ends up tearing up his knee and he's never the same. In the movie, Booby gets hurt in a crazy way. Perriman is actually blowing out some team in the first game of the season. Booby's going off. Dude done scored like 5 or 6 touchdowns in the movie. The game gets out of hand and the score is 42-7. Coach calls for running back Chris Comer, who in the beginning says that he's third string, Booby's backup's backup. I guess he just meant if Booby went down, he would move into the tailback spot and whoever was in the tailback spot would slide into Booby's spot. Maybe that's what he meant. Because as a kid watching this movie, it used to always bother me that he said he was third string. And then when he can't find his helmet, they send a star player back out there in a blowout. I'm like, where is the second string running back? Where is he at? Anyway, that's besides the point. Coach calls for Comer. He can't find his helmet. So apparently their only other option is to put Booby Miles, the star of the team, the engine of the team, the dude on which everything in this season is riding on. Their only option is to put that dude back in the game with 2 minutes left, up 40 points. Booby goes out there and gets caught in a bad situation, gets hurt, tears up his knee. Now in the book and in real life, it's not nearly as cinematic. And once I tell you the real story, you're gonna understand why they changed it for the movie. In real life, Booby actually never makes it to the first game of his senior season. He never got there because my man actually got hurt in a scrimmage. In a damn scrimmage, dog. That's right, on a 15-yard run during a scrimmage versus Paulo Duro High School. Now, the way the injury happens is actually pretty similar in both the book and the movie. It's just the setting. The setting is completely different because even though Perriman was pretty fanatical about football, so they probably would have had an okay crowd at the scrimmage. I'm assuming that in the movie, you want to get that whole stadium reaction and kind of get the look on everybody's faces and everything like that. Also, fun fact, the real Booby Miles himself cameos in the film and can be seen right here reacting to his own injury, which is kind of cool. Or maybe kind of traumatic, probably a little bit of both. So anyway, in real life, Booby plants and tries to stiff arm dude before going out of bounds, or instead of going out of bounds, and his foot gets caught in that garbage artificial turf who been taking out ACLs, just took out an ACL, I believe. Shepard just gets hurt his knee because of that? But yeah, his leg gets caught in the artificial turf. Somebody then falls into his knee just to finish it on off. Nobody really knows it at the time because the injury was less common. But in that moment, in a scrimmage, the great Boobie Miles' football career essentially ends. Right there. You gotta remember, it was 1988. High school player tears ACL. That's a career. Now, the same way Boobie flips out on the doctor in the movie who tells him his knee is more serious than originally believed, in real life he flipped out on the trainer right then and there, understandably so. Check out this excerpt from the book. "You might be out 6-8 weeks, the trainer said quietly, almost in a whisper. Boobie jolted upright, as if he was wincing from the force of a shock. "Oh, man," the trainer says, "we won't know until we x-ray it. It may be worse if you don't stop moving that leg." Boobie comes back. "You can't be serious, man. You gotta be full of shit, man." The trainer said nothing. "Man, I know you're not talking about no 6 to 8 weeks." Boobie was placed on the red players bench. Behind the sideline and his black high tops were slowly united. His leg was placed in a black bag filled with ice to help stop the swelling. He turned to the trainer. "Is this gonna fuck up my season, man?" he asked with a terrified whisper. "I sure hope not," said the trainer. But privately, the trainer's assessment was different. As a trainer, he dealt with knee injuries all the time. His gut told him it was something serious, an injury that might prevent Boobie from ever playing football again the way he once had. Boobie laid down and several student managers took off his pads. In his uniform with all the different pads he fancied, dude looked like a little RoboCop. But stripped of all the accoutrements, reduced to a gray shirt soaked with sweat, Boobie had lost his persona. He looked like exactly what he was, an 18-year-old kid who was scared to death. That's why I want to be a writer. It just really hit different, bro. But reading that and then thinking about the scene in the movie where Boobie breaks down, they both capture the emotion of Boobie's harsh reality in different ways. Real life, Boobie laid on the trainer's table while the game continued around him. And in that moment, I had to imagine he felt this damn small. Whether he realized it or not in that moment, with or without the one and only Boobie Miles, Friday Night Lights will continue. Initially, Boobie got good news, with one doctor saying it just looked like a sprain and that Boobie may be back as soon as a couple weeks. But the second exam showed that he needed surgery and the injury was a lot more serious than originally thought. Instead of actually having the ACL surgery, all dude had was his toughness and his heart questioned to the point where he was essentially pressured to get back out there on the field only 2 months later, 2 months after tearing your ACL. He obviously couldn't move and the opposing teams headhunted dude. I'm talking about hit him repeatedly. He was a sitting duck. As they teed off on him, they taunted him and challenged his toughness over and over and over again. Challenged his physical toughness, his mental toughness. Meanwhile, he's dealing with an internal crisis. Remember, football was all he had. That had become his personality at that point. So now, with his knee being taken away from him, he looking around trying to figure out who he even is if he can't spin like Boobie, you know? But he's living in a place who are completely blind to those problems. They don't care at all. All they care about is winning state at any cost. And if you can't help do that, they just toss you to the side. Dude was playing on an ACL that needed to be surgically repaired and rehabilitated, a process that took no less than a year. 2 months of rest and a brace, that ain't gonna fix nothing. So he made it through a couple of games, but obviously wasn't the same as before. But despite his noticeable limp, Coach Gaines and the rest of the coaching staff had no issue tossing him out there in blowouts just to basically test out his knee. But when the team faced Midland Lee, a real challenge, Boobie had to sit on the bench and watch Chris Comer, who had now come into his own, get all the shine. After 2 quarters of not playing, Boobie almost pulled Devontae Davis and retired at halftime. When he took off his pads and began to walk out, none of the varsity coaches even tried to stop him. They wanted him gone at this point because behaviorally, he was just more of an issue, and because he couldn't help him on the field, that was uninterested in the kid. But there was one JV coach who was essentially the liaison for all the black players on the team. He went, caught Booby, talked to him, calmed him down. And the book kind of goes out of his way to communicate that the thought was at this point that Booby was just another black player on the team. And the coaches who had always smiled in his face and talked about him behind his back was no longer interested in faking it when they saw Booby. What a cold reality. A kid who, outside of his uncle, has only ever felt love for what he could do on the field. And as that ability slips away from him, his biggest nightmare comes true, as all his darkest thoughts about humanity are confirmed. Most of us learn these hard lessons at some point, and I actually am jealous of the people who never had to. Booby didn't quit at halftime, but instead waited a couple of days after. Just like in the movie, Chris Comer takes Booby's spot and has a great season. He was said to have worked harder in the weight room and was easier to handle, so the coaches were happy. Booby eventually has the surgery after quitting the team, and now doctors finally confirmed that it was indeed an ACL tear. And after he's officially off the team, they finally acknowledged the fact that it was a miracle that he was able to play on his torn ACL at all. Dude was literally playing on one leg, and not only that, but by him prolonging the surgery and going back out there to try to play on the knee, he actually ends up making it worse. Of course, despite that effort to play through an injury that a professional running back can't play through, all his coaches called him a quitter and used extremely offensive terminology. Not only is it uncalled for, it's untrue, it's slander. You know what I'm saying? That's cold, bruh. Raised in a religious household, he thought to himself that maybe he'd done something wrong and was being punished by God. Maybe he had been a little bit too cocky. Booby figured that had to be why, quote unquote, everything was taken away from him so soon at that. Unlike today, where dude would get a bunch of well wishes and empathy and sympathy, an outpouring from fans. At the time Booby was living in, which wasn't really that long ago, dude was just laughed at, teased, and insulted at every turn. One reason was, yes, dude was a bit cocky when he was on. And another reason is that he lived in one of the most racist towns, especially at that time. I talked about this a little bit in the intro, but according to the book, one day 3 boosters showed up to the practice field and said that Booby should be taken out back and treated like a lame horse. But as if that wasn't harsh enough, another man said that when a horse pulls up lame, you don't even waste a bullet on him. These are the type of deep-seated racist beliefs that a lot of people hold. They very clearly viewed this man as like a football animal, and once he could no longer play football, he might as well be put down because they felt that his life had no value beyond what he could do on the field. And you got to remember, the author of the book, a white guy, moved to the town, so it got to the point where they was comfortable talking like this around him. They just assumed he wasn't gonna print this. And while the author himself has expressed regret for not initially putting names on a lot of the people that said a lot of this stuff about Booby, he actually did come back and name the coach who said, and I quote, "Without football, Booby was nothing but a big old dumb N-word." We're talking about that deep, dark, potent racism with these dudes, man. When you hold these beliefs, it makes it impossible for you to view members of another race the same as you do your own. And it's the root of a lot of issues in this country. And it's the reason why, instead of just getting extra help when he was young and getting back on track, Booby was written off, put in basically special classes, and essentially seen as a lost cause who was incapable of learning, despite the fact that we saw evidence that he could learn. He learned the plays, he learned how to speak, he learned how to write, he learned a whole lot of stuff. So he can learn. It reminded me of the Mike Tomlin quote from the Pivot podcast. The Odessa school system was seeking comfort, trying to say that Booby Miles could not learn. So things would continue to go bad for Booby. After his injury and being off the team, Booby even got into an argument with his uncle LV and ended up moving out of the house. LV waited for him to come back, figuring it's just an argument, we'll be fine. But Booby was at a crossroads in his life and didn't show back up to the house for a whole week. And when he did show up, he just showed up to pack up the rest of his stuff. LV still went to the practices, and now instead of loudly talking about Booby's skills, he quietly talked about Booby's skills. He was still saying his nephew could go pro. He just needed a little bit more development. LV was obviously hurt by the fact that him and Booby weren't on speaking terms, but dude had already lived a life of disappointment in Odessa. When he was young, the black kids weren't even allowed to play on the team. Reason being because they went to a different school who didn't have a team and they weren't allowed to go to the other school. So LV grew up wanting to play under the Friday Night Lights, which explains why he took so much pride when Booby actually made it out there and was that dude for a short period of time. For Booby, the world came at him fast, even before he left high school. Dude's grades was always propped up thanks to the fact that he played ball. But now that he was no longer on the team, he was failing most of his classes. The time he missed getting knee surgery, he had to make up for, and things had stacked up on him fast. Not to mention his life as he knew it had just ended, so kind of hard to motivate yourself to do a bunch of schoolwork. According to the book, his coaches secretly were sitting back laughing at his failures. Booby suffered all alone. Not even a Twitter following to vent to. Fortunately, he and Uncle LV eventually made up, and Booby moved back home around Christmas '88. He went to a junior college and tried to make the most of it, saying, quote, "I think it kind of teaches me a lesson. I had fame and glory and all that, and the Lord took it away. I kind of had the big head, and he took it away from me. But he still thought about what if. We could have gone to state. I could have had a better scholarship. But right now, I'm happy with what I got. I got a scholarship I didn't think I was gonna get. If I do good, I could go somewhere in a year." Booby became the first freshman starting running back at Ranger Junior College, but his knee was never the same. With things going bad on the field, Booby eventually went into the tank. If y'all don't know what that means, it's like when you as an athlete just get to the point where you just start going through the motions, you lose all your motivation. Eventually that snowballed and he stopped going to class and eventually flunked out of school. He tried semi-pro ball for a little while. That didn't work out. Then ended up just working odd jobs around Odessa. Things would continue to go bad as Uncle LV passed away in 1998. And after that, Booby continued the spiral. He fought to stay afloat, but with a limited skill set and the weight of his long-lost superstardom weighing him down, dude had a hard time finding consistent work that he could motivate himself to wake up and do every day. You even see some of this today with former stars whose stardom has run its course. Then they have to go out and get a regular job. Wasted talent, people like to call them. Then them same damn people go home and use their talent to watch Netflix or something like that. And sadly, after leaving for a short period of time, he returns to Odessa. You know, essentially that's all he knows. But he goes back there where a lot of people treat him like a pariah, but some treat him like a hometown hero. It's a mixed bag. Here's a recent quote from the writer of the book who has kept up with some of the players from the team, including Booby. Booby lived for football. He was told to live for football. His uncle who took care of him, he lived for football. That was Booby's only persona in school, and when he lost that, I saw him dissolve. I saw him fall apart. I saw every dream he had fall to pieces, and I saw that town, and I will never take this back. I saw that town turn totally against him after loving him and praising him once they found another running back who was good or maybe better named Chris Comer, and that's when the N-word came out. He continued. I saw this over and over, and I kept in touch with Booby since the book in 1990 for 25 years, and I don't think he's ever recovered. He continues on about how the last time he saw Booby, he was wearing a white prison uniform, which made me think how ironic that is and how much it sucks. So when Booby was in high school at Perriman, the goal was to be the one wearing the black jersey at practice. He didn't want to be the dude wearing the white jersey. That was the backups. After Booby got hurt, he was demoted from the black jersey to the white jersey. And I just could not get that image out of my head of him being demoted and embarrassed to have to wear that white jersey to now being demoted and embarrassed even further, having to wear a white prison uniform, you know? Sucks. In 2011, Booby was charged with aggravated assault. Not sure what set him off, but one article says him and his stepbrother got into it. Booby allegedly smashed dude in the head with a beer bottle repeatedly. Here's the weird thing, and it's actually a little confusing and there's conflicting information out here. But it appears that the alleged assault actually stems all the way back to 1999, 1 year after the passing of his uncle LV. Then 10 years later in 2011, he's actually charged for that crime. And then with no priors, the man is put on 10 years probation. Get out of Odessa. There's not a lot of info on this part at all, but this one article claims that part of Booby's probation was that he was supposed to register as an offender which he failed to do. As far as the failure to register as a offender thing, I saw that once or twice, but I just can't find anything that says why he had to register as a, like, nothing actually says what happened. And when I try to find a sexual assault case that they're talking about, all I can find is the assault case with the beer bottle. You know, it's two completely different things. So I wanted to put this in here and not like omit it from the video, but you just got to take it with a huge grain of salt because I can't find nothing to support it. But I was able to find some separate details on the whole beer bottle situation. And there is another side to that story, one told once again by the author of the book while he was on yet another visit to see Booby in jail. He does confirm the beer bottle story, although not the stepbrother part. He said somebody was talking about Booby's family and Booby cracked him in the head with a bottle. He let his anger get the best of him, but it ain't like he was just out here causing problems. He was provoked, and unfortunately, he took the bait. Too bad he couldn't slap the pads on and go block the hell out the dude who was talking crazy. And like I said, despite having no priors, dude ends up with 10 years probation from that situation. According to Bellinger, Booby starts out going to see his probation officer, but at some point he stops going. They issue a warrant for his arrest. He does an illegal U-turn, gets pulled over, boom, ends up in prison. He was sentenced to 10 years for that. Again, I say, get the hell out of Odessa. At one point, Booby gained so much weight it was life-threatening. Dude got up to 420 pounds at one point and was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. When Booby was in prison, he did the exact same thing he did back when he had to go to JUCO. He accepted his fate and took responsibility. It's funny because those who viewed himself as above Booby back in his hometown, they never did the same. They never wanted to take accountability for their actions, and as a matter of fact, the author of the book got death threats for basically just telling the truth in the book, even though he says he could have said a lot more, he could have put a lot more names in, and you know, he tried to be tactful. But as a journalist, he said he just could not ignore all the crooked stuff that was going on. Like, it was a part of the town. It was just a part of it. Basically, there was no way to tell the story and leave that out. So yeah, once again, instead of looking in the mirror, they just sent the dude death threats. Just try to get rid of the mirror. That way I don't have to look in it. Meanwhile, the guy they turned their noses up at and called evil names has actually taken full responsibility despite being thrown away at only 18 years old. Here's what Booby had to say while he was in jail. I could never just pick up the pieces. Every time I thought I could get it together, it just fell apart. I just let it happen. I didn't try to stay strong. Whatever happens, happens. That's how I look at it. So while he has kind of taken responsibility, you can see he was at a very low point at the time and was just kind of beside himself and accepting whatever bad thing came to him at that point. While it is very important to take accountability, we all know it was plenty of fault to go around, but it seems like Booby was the only one who had to pay the ultimate price. And that ain't fair, but it's life, you know? People think Friday Night Lights, the book and film, were the best things that happened to Booby, but they're wrong. Dude's life had fallen apart and now it was being published. If it happened today, maybe he can get a podcast popping, you know, use his charisma to feed his family. But instead, dude basically walked away with nothing. He did make a whopping $1,000 off of the movie rights. Then he got sued for more child support because the mothers of some of his kids thought, hey, he's rich now. He was in fact not rich, he was broke. But at least one of the women that Booby has kids with stayed loyal to him, and when he did get out of prison in 2018, he moved in with her and the kids. After that, I'm sure things still ain't perfect for the man, but you can see Booby started to clean things up and kind of start to get things together. He now had a new immediate family and he got a job working for Jack Welch Recruiting. Also goes through the circuit of schools in the area doing motivational speaking, warning kids of how the game, fans, and coaches can all turn against you if you lose that ability. As much as I loved this movie as a kid, man, Booby Miles is such a tragic story. A kid who was just used and used until he was used up. And then once that happened, they just tossed him in the trash and moved on to the next one. And the worst part of the whole thing is just the satisfaction the town seemed to get with his fall from grace. These people threw around jokes about putting the man down like he was a damn animal, but he made it through it all.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. But I appreciate y'all. I'm finna go to sleep.